All right, we're
All right. Good morning, everyone. All right, it's almost afternoon. We're right here at the noon hour. It's always that weird time, like, do I say good morning, good afternoon? So welcome today to this beautiful day that we're having today. It's Valentine's Day, and we're talking about one of the things I love, which is agriculture. Um, so just a few housekeeping things for today. My name is Vanessa. I'm with the Dallas Public Library. You will be muted, and your video will be turned off during the presentation. However, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to put those in the chat and we'll get to those as we're able to. Um, let's see, I think that's it. Let me go ahead and turn it over to Judy with the Department of Environmental Quality and Sustainability, and she's going to introduce our speaker, and then he's going to introduce all of our other panelists today we have here talking about urban agriculture and what they're doing at the Deloach Agriculture Center. All right, thank you, Judy.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. We're so pleased to be here today on this beautiful Valentine's Day. It is here in Dallas, Texas. It's a gorgeous day. So happy Valentine's to everyone. And also, we just love talking about agriculture and urban agriculture in particular. I'm be very excited in a moment to introduce our speaker and the organization that he works with. And I just wanted to say that in Dallas, we have over 400 parks. We have hundreds of schools. I think there's like 157 elementary schools alone. So there's within those school systems, there's community gardens. We have community gardens, over 100 community gardens within Dallas. We have the farmers market. We have some of the major, groups, Farm, Deloach, Urban Agriculture Center, which we'll be introducing here shortly. So there's so much agriculture within our city. It may seem strange because people think of Dallas as concrete, glass, shopping, probably anything but our urban agriculture. But there's really a great baseline group of people that are in this category and trying to help with food insecurity, trying to help get the food sourced correctly, all kinds of sustainable elements that will all come into play and help us with our urban environment and with taking care of our resources and the environment all around us. So the Office of Environmental Quality and Sustainability is where I work within the city of Dallas. And that's what we're all about, is trying to make all this come together and work so that we have a healthier, better environment and we know how to take care of our resources and what behaviors that will require. The other thing I want to mention is regarding urban agriculture. The city had actually this past year approved a plan, the city council approved a plan with a consultant from New York, agriculture. And so you'll be hearing more about that. Probably give us about 6 months or so because we have some new staff members coming on board. We're working on this plan. There's so many things going on with it. But in about 6 months, I bet it'll be a good time for us to come back and have a really great update about it. So I wanted to mention that that's taking place. And we have various departments within the city very focused on this. One of them is our department. And we do have an urban agriculture division within our department. So I now want to begin introducing our speakers today, and then the speaker will introduce the panel and all of his guests. But we're very happy to have Deloach Urban Agriculture Center with us, and their mission is to promote urban agriculture and to fight food insecurity here in Dallas or really anywhere. And I understand we actually have some guests on from different parts of the world today, and I'm sure agriculture is different there, but ultimately it's all just to keep us all safe and healthy and thriving. So Coy Poitier is a successful and passionate community leader and award-winning film director who's here today to present to us about Deloach Urban Agriculture and their missions. He is very much a consultant with urban agriculture here in Dallas. He's a musician, a motivational speaker, and a certified master gardener. In 2007, he moved to Dallas County with his wife and children to assist in his mother's church as Minister of Music and Christian Education Director. And in 2014, Coy became the Executive Director of FAWC, Conservatory of Arts and Sciences, and their mission is to promote creative youth and young adult development by linking arts and science education training, and interpretive experiences with building personal, social, and intellectual capacities needed to succeed in school, in their career, and in life. He is a graduate of Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Master Gardener Program and a member of the Dallas County Master Gardener Association. He is also certified in native landscape food management. He's a National Geographic educator and has urban agricultural certifications. As you can see, he really knows a lot about urban agriculture. He's very involved in it from many different streams. And it's my pleasure to introduce Coy. Coy, will you please introduce your guests and your program today?
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for your introduction, ma'am. Appreciate you. We're so excited to be here today as we get ready to talk about urban agriculture and our contribution to urban agriculture. Also our contribution to help fight the problem of food insecurity, the issues of food deserts. We all have different definitions of what a food desert is, what food insecurity is, but whatever that definition is, and I don't like to get political about definitions, what I want to do is try to help solve the problem. To me, it's not as important to figure out what it is, but how to fight it is what's very important to me. And so we're just going to go over, I want to introduce a few people to you. If I can just get my my presentation here up, and I'll get that to you in a second. My screen here, but while we do that, we're excited to have you on. I'd like to say to you all, happy Valentine's Day. I want to say Merry Valentine's Day. I'm jumping ahead by a couple of months, but happy Valentine's Day to you all. And we're hoping you're having a blessed Valentine's. And I believe you can see my screen. I can't tell from this side. Everyone can see my screen?
We can see your PowerPoint, yeah.
Okay, outstanding. All right. So as you see, Deloach Urban Agriculture Center, this is a division or a part of FAWC Conservatory of Arts and Sciences. And I actually have the founders here with me. They're going to talk in a second. Basically, Deloach Urban Agriculture Center came because we have a farm that we have in the back. And we wanted to dedicate the name of that farm to the two people who helped get this thing established with the passion and the heart to bless the people. So we're going to talk to them in a second. So really, this is the rundown of how we're going to do it today. Of course, I'm the executive director of FAWC Conservatory of Arts and Sciences. We have Carolyn Deloach who's going to speak, which is one of the founders of, and as you can see, Pastor Roy Deloach on the side of me is also a co-founder. We're going to listen to as well Katrina Portier, who is the farm manager of Deloach Urban Agriculture Center. She's going to give us a rundown on some of the programming and some of the future plans we have. We have Cleveland Robinson here, who's a mental health specialist. He's going to talk about what food insecurity does to the mind and why is it so important for us all to come together and try to work this out. We know those kids over there and those families over there are having certain issues due to food insecurity. He'll deal with that. I don't want to get into that. And then lastly, and very importantly, we have Joshua Coleman. He's the state outreach coordinator with the FSA, and he's going to explain some things, some future plans and some things that's going on right now. So I'm excited to hear what all of them have to say today. And so real quick, let me introduce to you the founder of FAWC Conservatory of Arts and Sciences. And I know this person well because this is my mother and I'm the baby boy. And so we get a chance to hear from her on the reasons why we even have this thing. And Mom, why don't you tell them what's going on and introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. I'm glad to be here. Were you able to hear me? I have my mask on.
Yeah.
Okay. I am the founder of, as my son has said, Coy said, FAWC Conservatory of Arts and Sciences. And that dream, I had a dream as well, that we could do much more with our community if we get started and come together and work together. that we could make a big splash in the time of need. So I'm very excited about my son and my daughter-in-law helping me with this program. I can just sit back and don't have to do too much of anything because they are doing a great job. I thank God for my husband, Pastor Roy Deloach, he's here with us. And we all we have to do, because we have so many people who are very, very great in doing what they're supposed to do, very efficient, and they work very hard. So I can just stand back as a minister of God and watch over them as they do the work. So I am very grateful to be here, as I said before, and I want you to know that we are doing one of the greatest things, I believe, on this side of the planet, because we are helping those who are less fortunate than we are. Just like the urban farm, we are planning on also building a fabulous church on the other side of this property, so that people can come in, they can just enjoy what we have to give out to them, those who don't have as much as we do, but they will be blessed because of us. And thank you so very much. I think I've said enough.
Can you give an idea what inspired you to do a nonprofit anyways? Did you have any past experiences that made you want to create a nonprofit?
I didn't have past experiences, but what I can say is in my heart, I could feel, because I see so many children on the street. That was one of my biggest things why I wanted to do what we've done. They're on the street. Some didn't have parents there with them. They didn't have food to eat. And what we could do, we could save these children. I know that we could do it because we have the gift. And there's a gift that was given to me to do what I'm doing right now. And so that's why I decided let's go ahead right quickly and do what we have to do. A founder, we had to research, and we've done. I'm so proud of the people who are working with me. They're not under me. We work side by side, okay? And they have done an excellent job in feeding the children, teaching the children, and just excited about how things are really growing here at our farm.
You have anything?
I'm just glad to be here today, and I can't wait to get started to working on the garden this year. It will be a better garden than it was last year.
I believe it.
And I'm looking forward to that. Thanks, and that's what I'm going today.
All right. And so as we get back into the program, I definitely, all this, even with the garden wouldn't be happening, the farm wouldn't be happening if they weren't inspired by God to do this in the first place.
Yes.
And so we're definitely excited. We're going to get back into the program, and this whole thing is based on food insecurity. And as you see, the definition came, I went online and got a base version or description of food insecurity. But as we work in programs in Pleasant Grove and in some areas of Lancaster, we realized that when we was running the program, how we got started in all this, we would run the program Monday through Friday, and we would realize a lot of kids only came to the program to eat. And we would find out that after school was out, the last meal that the kids would eat of the day was at school.
Wow.
And some of those kids wouldn't have any food again until they went back to school the
Yes.
following day. So we started off with a regular program, FAWC Conservatory. We started off teaching the kids about arts and sciences. As you see my jacket, I love NASA. And I always wanted to be an astronaut, but in the 70s and the 80s, I didn't think that was something we could do. And so I never followed through. That's what I inspire the kids to do now is go for it. You can do all things. You can do it. You're smart enough, and this is what we tell them. But while we was teaching this, we knew the kids were focused, but not really focused on what we were saying because they were hungry.
Yes.
So we kind of changed our focus from just teaching the arts and sciences and trying to find a way not to just throw snacks in them, but how can we teach them something that allow them to be able to do this on their own full time?
Yes.
I even started a program, launch an initiative called Greens for Greens, where we would teach some of the young men who had the street businesses, if I want to say it that way, that were selling on the corners. Hey, give me those greens, get rid of those greens, and then sell these greens. And that way, when those people come up, you don't have to be running. You can tell them this is a legit business. I'm selling greens, I'm selling lettuce, I'm selling tomatoes. And that's an initiative that I really want to push a little bit further, because I can ask them to stop all day. Unless I have something to replace that with, that means nothing. And so back to food insecurity, we're going to have Mr. Cleveland Robinson talk about this a little bit later on, of what it does to the mind when these young people are hungry. So real quick, I'm going to show you a video. And the video is going to kind of give you a short rundown of the program, a few highlights of what we've done out here so far, and it'll show you our work of what we were doing in Pleasant Grove. All right, I know I said a lot there, so hopefully just hang out, stick out. This is a news clip that was shot about us during the time that we were working with OGU in Dallas, which is an awesome program for former gang members, former OGs. And this is a link that we did with a partnership with them. So hope you enjoy it.
Y'all come grab a seat. Because a lot of times they go through a lot of stuff, they see a lot of stuff, they hear a lot of stuff. When they come through those doors, we wanted to create a place where they can just be kids.
On one of Dallas's most dangerous street corners, you'll find a cozy
I forgot the grade.
and colorful safe space. This center, the FAWC Conservatory of Arts and
Because
Sciences,
a lot of times when we think,
is the brainchild of Coy and Katrina Poitier. It's also a partner of the newly launched Original Gangsters United Crime Prevention Program.
I'm one of their first graduating classes.
Coy's one of several mentors trained by reformed gang members and deployed to work with kids in the most crime-ridden pockets of the city.
I know it's like a safe place to come.
That's something 7th grader King Martin had struggled to find since he watched his 13-year-old friend Malik Tyler murdered, killed by a stray bullet from a gunfight as they left the corner store.
I didn't want to go outside no more, but they always check up on me.
The Poitiers have also made sure Martin, along with the other kids here, know that they have options other than the gang violence that runs rampant throughout their community.
What we do for these kids, we tell them you can. You know what I'm saying? We give them an opportunity to see there's other things.
I want to become an NFL player, but if that don't work, I'll be a paleontologist. We'll study dinosaur bones.
Go get some pizza, come sit down.
Because Poitier believes that by providing dreams and showing these kids someone cares, that they'll eventually affect real change.
If not us, then who? If we leave, then who's going to be here for these kids?
In Dallas, Ali Spilliards, NBC5.
in the share here. And that was just a few of what we're doing, and we want to take it greater. We want to do more programming. And today, I want to introduce you to my wife, Katrina, who's going to talk to us about exactly what we're talking about, the programming and things we get ready to do in the future, things we've done already, and how we're looking forward to you to come out and help us. Katrina?
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for actually having me today. I am the program director and farm manager for FAWC Conservatory of Arts and Sciences, where I am tasked with planning educational fun activities for our students, and trying to make the curriculum to where they don't feel like they're in school, but to have them enjoy what is going on as we teach them about the soils and the compost and things that have to deal with farming, so that they don't feel like they're actually sitting in the classroom. Last year, we were able to partner with the Dallas Horse Park. We attended a meeting by the Dallas County Historical Commission, which my husband Coy serves on that board. And the children were very active on listening and answering questions on what they heard. And some of those kids had never been out of the Pleasant Grove area, so it enlightened them to be able to come out and see a different area. This year,
Katrina, I'm sorry, they're saying they can't really hear you. Could you come up to your mic a little bit, please? Thank you.
Okay. Let me see if I can. Can you hear me now? Is that better?
Sounds good.
Okay. So as I was saying, this year, we plan to introduce a program that Coy and I designed, which is fitness, food innovation, technology, nutrition, education, and social services. And basically, it allows us to teach them nutrition, things of that sort, to help them understand that farming is a part of life. Some people, they go to the grocery store and they don't see where that vegetable or that fruit actually comes from. And so we take them out and show them exactly where it comes from. A lot of people don't know that a potato comes from underground, or you can pick a fruit from a tree. So it has to deal with a lot of us letting them know that farming is not a dirty thing to where you would wear these dirty overalls and things of that sort. You can actually be stylish and learn how to deal with the soils and deal in compost and still be able to look, as my daughter would say, stylish, cute, get your nails done, have your hair done, and things of that sort.
All right. So Katrina, tell us a little bit about the program we ran with the young men, where we got certified for National Geographic. Do you remember anything about the Three Sisters and kind of how that lesson taught boys how to work together? Can you explain a little bit on that?
Sure. So the program of the Three Sisters consists of squash, beans, and corn. Corn was established to have the strengthening stem for the squash and beans. The beans would actually grow up to the stalk of the corn, which gave it that stability. The squash would actually be the ground cover, so it kind of gave it a protection of the ground from different weathering, bugs that would actually come and eat on the corn stalk. So it kind of gave that stability. It was a form of a family. We did that program with a couple of the boys, and what it showed them was how to stick together, how to come together when growing. We also taught them how to cook that. So they performed a meal and prepared a meal and was able to serve it, speak about it, and just actually sit up and be able to share what they have learned. So in the process of teaching them, we're teaching them to teach others.
And that's awesome. And also lastly, so we can listen to Cleve, tell them about how some of the relationships with some of the former gang members or some of the guys who was on the streets, when we gave them a plant, they actually took the plant back home to their mom. And talk to them real quick how teaching people how to grow plants or giving them plants, how that kind of mended some relationships.
Okay, so we had a gentleman to come and offered, he asked us were the plants that we were giving to the children only for the children. And of course we said no. You know, learning about growing is something that the whole community should know about. Families should be able to share in that in order to feed their families. So we gave him the plant, and I gave him instructions on what to do, how to grow it, and where to sit it. And every day he would come into the office and he would let us know how that plant was doing and that it was growing and it was getting bigger. And with him doing that, he was able to make a bond with his mother, who he had a terrible relationship with. They were able to use this plant as something to look forward to do every day, to have that bond created between him and his mother. So not only did it provide, I think it was a pepper plant that we had given him, but it was, you know, it was able to provide him with the ability to grow, to learn about that, and to also share it with his mother and create a new bond.
That's awesome. Thank you. And that goes into talking to Cleveland Robinson. If we get Cleveland to come on, that's why some of these things are important. And we have an understanding how the lack of food, you know, is an issue in mental health. So Cleveland, we know that you're a mental health specialist. Kind of introduce yourself and your company. Kind of give us a little rundown of what we're talking about here.
Hey, good morning. Good to see everybody, especially Dallas Public Library again. I'm Cleveland Robinson, and I'm a mental health advocate and actually licensed clinician. And I'm a advisory member for FAWC, Conservatory of the Arts and Sciences. Very happy to be here. And just my quick segment will really be to just emphasize the importance of what we're trying to accomplish and bring awareness to as a nonprofit and urban farm. And that's the food insecurity piece. It was mentioned at the very beginning of today in the introductions about how many elementary schools are here in the DFW area, so the Dallas area specifically. Of course, we can double that number with high schools and middle schools and other academic institutions. What's important about that is the effects of food insecurity on mental health. And that's the role that I play with the conservatory. It's not a surprise that a lot of inner city schools in particular, and those schools that are of color that make up our area here in Dallas, deal with such poor performances academically because of food insecurity. 13 million children around the United States deal with food insecurity every single day. So that means they wake up in the morning and the meal that they have to look forward to is lunch or breakfast at school. And for many of them, as was identified when we were at our facility over there for Bruton, for many of them, the only meal that they got was when they came down to the office and they were given a meal there in the office, actually on the site. So I think that it's hard for us to imagine that a child can wake up in the morning and there actually be an empty refrigerator. But this is a reality in America. And so we want to focus on food insecurity. And just to give you some more numbers, I wrote these down. These are very important. With food insecurity, if you're having food insecurity, that increases your likelihood for anxiety. Think about if you're a child or adult trying to work. 257%, okay, for anxiety. For depression, it increases it by 253%. So, we never see it, when it's our luxury to just drive through at McDonald's, but truly it's a bigger luxury than we think. And at FAW and Conservatory of Sciences, we want to actually shift people and communities to understand that that health and fresh foods are actually more tangible than they think, by actually trying to give them the tools necessary to even grow their own produce. Even if you are living in an apartment, no matter what your living situation is, these are some of the future goals and things that we would love to accomplish, as well as being able to grow produce that is affordable from the community and farm to table here in the DFW area. So there's some more things to think about. Fresh food, for instance, as Coy mentioned earlier, these kids will come down to our nonprofit office. This will be one of their first meals. But what Katrina used to do, I don't believe she ever understood how important it was when she would cook. She's an excellent cook, by the way, everybody. So she would cook some fresh meals for the kids on some weekends. And I'm not sure, even to this day, because it's something she's always done, has truly understand how important those meals were. Some of these kids don't get fresh meals that we service in our communities. But I realize as a clinician that we have to talk more to our urban populations, the populations that we specifically serve as an urban farm, about the importance of eating vegetables, about the importance of adding leafy greens to your plate, the importance of adding more omega-3s into your palate, such as salmon and other seafood where you can get that from, or even supplements. These are the things that will allow individuals to focus better, to live healthier lives. And so that's what we want to do as an organization. From a mental health standpoint, not only are we providing affordable produce, but we're providing an opportunity to make the importance awareness that when we're growing these vegetables, when we're expanding this farm, we're also shouting to the mountaintops that we got to have healthier eating in our communities. And this is one of the main reasons why mental health is important.
Thank you. I think people rarely think about that. That's why it's so important to have someone with you on your team who has an understanding of these issues. Because to me, I understand sometimes being hungry and it's irritating, but to me, I know at some point I can go get something to eat. I know at some point of the day, even though I'm hungry now, I know 2 hours or 4 hours into my work, I'll go to a lunchtime and I can go get something. But for some of these people, that is not a luxury. So thank you for your contribution again, Mr. Robinson. And I'll probably have some more questions for you later to make sure I honor everybody's time. We're getting ready to bring Joshua on as well. But before we do, let's tell you how we even got to this point where we're even talking about an urban farm. And I tell you, it's when, whether you believe or not, but when God is in the mix, he directs certain paths. And for me, I got a call saying, hey, they're giving away plants down here to Walmart. Could you come down and get a plant? We have 501c3, so we were able to go down there and assist with this plant. While there, the manager says, hey, we have to get rid of all this stuff. We're getting ready to, the store manager told me I'm tasked with getting rid of this whole garden center. You think you can take it? And I'm like, take it? I don't have a way to take a garden center with thousands of plants and tons of fruit trees. And it just so happened, one of our board members and church members said, hey, I have a box truck. We can use that. So we were able to come over. It was something real because the pastor said, I'm going to cancel church for the Sunday. And we went down to the church. That's my mom, so she's probably pinching me and I don't feel like it. But we were able to cancel church and go down there and get that stuff. And I tell you what, we ended up with 9 box loads of the whole entire garden center from Walmart. And we were able to bring it back to our property And our goal was to just, hey, we'll try to use some of this for fundraisers, but we'll give this away. So I actually called Texas A&M AgriLife. I'm almost done. I called Texas, hey, we have a bunch of trees down here. Why don't y'all come look at these trees? If you want it, why don't y'all come get them? Jeff and Stephen came down. Stephen Huskins came down, and they looked at the property that my parents had bought for the church and said, hey, y'all have all this land out here. Why don't you plant some of this stuff? And we told them, we don't have any idea about this garden stuff. I'm a musician, filmmaker. I don't know about that. And so he said, just try. He gave us a few basic ideas on how to plant the trees. And so we did it. We called him back and said, hey, we did it. Come check it out. He came out and was so impressed of how we learned and put it together. Some intelligent people involved around here. And so he said, you know what? I'm so impressed with what you did. I want to send you and your wife to Master Gardener School for free. We'll take care of it. We just want you to go to school. And from that time, the doors open, the wheels start spinning up top, and we've been able to turn this into an urban farm. All of this around the time of the people being hungry, the people needing to learn. That's why I know it's the law of timing. I know it's a specific time that he has for us to learn. So I don't think this mission is really about us. It's about the people and what we can give back to the community. And I say all of that because during that time, I found out about the USDA, about getting the farm number, and the NRCS, Natural Resource Conservation Services. I found out about them, applied, got a farm number, and they came out and viewed the property, was decided, and they gave us a grant toward making this an actual urban farm. During that time, I've been able to meet some very important people in the USDA. And one of those people, which is Joshua Copeland, he's the state outreach coordinator for the Farm Service Administration here in Texas for the USDA. And he has agreed to come on today and talk to us about the very program that we were once trying to be a part of, and how I was honestly blessed to be elected as one of the new urban county committee chairs for this program that just came from, I think, the 2018 Farm Bill. So we're excited about that. And Joshua's going to give us a rundown today. I'm telling you, this is a very exciting brother. I look forward to hearing from him again. And Joshua, if you can come on and kind of tell us about what the FSA and USDA is doing.
Sure. Thank you so much, Cor, for inviting me to speak with you all today, and for Dallas Public Library for hosting us today. I'm going to share my screen real quick, and so just go through some of the information that Coy has mentioned. So with the Farm Service Agency, for those of y'all that may not be familiar, we are an agency within the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Our specific agency is generally tasked with administering farm loan programs to farmers and ranchers around the country, but we also administer conservation, price support, and disaster programs to support farmers and ranchers as needed as the market arises or disasters occur. In the 2018 Farm Bill, as Coy just mentioned, it did include some legislation specific to urban agriculture. And so today I'll just talk a little bit more about what the department is doing from our standpoint to be able to better support and provide information for urban producers. So the 2018 Farm Bill, it did produce a new initiative, which is being created into an office, which is the Office of Urban Agriculture and Innovative Production. So this office is going to be a 5 or more year piloted project that will be led by our sister agency, the Natural Resources Conservation Service, to engage with urban producers and gardeners to encourage and promote urban, indoor, and other emerging agricultural practices. Traditionally, FSA, we haven't done a lot of work with urban producers in the past, but hopefully through the work that we'll be doing with OUAIP, through the Farm Bill, and with the Urban County Committee that Coy serves on, we'll be seeing what other additional things that not only our agency, but also what USDA will be able to better do to support urban producers. So the Office of Urban Agriculture and Innovative Production, they will be responsible for overseeing the establishment of a federal advisory committee for urban ag and innovative production. This advisory committee was just announced within the past couple of weeks, and within this committee, there is a specific subcommittee on agriculture. And so this federal advisory committee, they will be working to, from their level, identifying what things, what needs that they have, and then the department will be working to see how can we better provide assistance as a whole to all urban producers, regardless of where you're located at around the country. Another agency within us, the National Institute of Food and Agriculture, they will be working on awarding a competitive grants program. So these grants programs, they are available throughout the year. Now, these typically will depend on what exactly the funding is, what type of entities or individuals may be eligible to apply. Sometimes they may be limited to businesses, sometimes they may be limited to schools, primary, secondary education. And so it really all depends what type of opportunities may be available there. The Natural Resources Conservation Service, they will be administering a community compost and food waste reduction project in at least 10 states through cooperative agreements. They did fund some of these programs last year, and so I believe they may be funding some additional ones in the future. Farm Service Agency will be responsible for establishing at least 10 new pilot county committees in urban areas, one of which is in Dallas. That committee did start on January 1st of this year, and we'll talk a little bit more about that here in a second. From an agency department-wide perspective, we'll be looking at developing policies and resources to assist urban producers. So from a whole holistic standpoint, from the department level, there are over 25 different agencies that make up USDA. And so all of our different agencies play a different role in supporting agriculture and nutrition, just depending on where you may be in which agency. From the holistic approach that the department is taking under the guidance in the Farm Bill, we'll be working to see what each of our individual agencies can do to make sure that urban producers, urban growers have the resources that they need to address the specific and unique issues that they are faced with. And then the secretary, he will be working on advising the development of policies and additional outreach, so that way we can bring new producers into the fold that have not traditionally participated in any of our programs. So FSA, our role here, as I mentioned, is responsible for standing up the pilot committees in selected urban areas. So as of now, there are 11 active county committees. So there were 5 announced in 2020. They were Albuquerque, Cleveland, Ohio, Philadelphia, Portland, and Richmond, Virginia. In 2021, the locations included Atlanta, Dallas, Minneapolis, New Orleans, Phoenix, and St. Louis. So all 11 of these committees, they have been active and they have been working to figure out what specific things that they'll be working on, what specific things they need in their particular areas. And then we'll be working with them to let them know not only what FSA and NRCS can provide, but if there are some additional resources that are available through other agencies in the department to address these needs. There will be additional urban county committees that will be announced this year that will come online in 2023. And so we will be looking forward to that announcement to see which other cities around the country will be able to play a vital part in this effort. For Dallas County, in this map here breaks down how Dallas County is broken down for our local administrative areas for our county committees and which areas that they represent. Dallas County, we did break it down into 3 local administrative areas for Farm Service Agency purposes. And so our committee consists of 3 members, and they are Cord 48. Of course, he also serves as committee chairperson. Chris Lee, she serves on the committee and she is a vice chairperson. And Hayat El Jundi, she is a regular member on the county committee. And so they will be working, the 3 of them, along with our local office that's located over in Henderson County, to figure out what things are specific to Dallas urban producers that they'll need and see what things that we can actually provide assistance for, or what things we may need to change to give them the assistance and support that they need. So some of the roles of the Urban County Committee will include outreach to local stakeholders to promote USDA programs. We do know that there is still a gap in there within our programs and knowledges, just because our agency has traditionally not worked a lot closely with urban producers. And so they will be kind of a key part in helping us to kind of make some of those connections there on the ground to get the word out about what is available through our agency. They will be working to understand the programs within USDA and how they can impact producers. And so our hope is to be able to provide them with information, again, not only on just FSA programs, but those available through NRCS or the Food and Nutrition Service or the National Institute of Food and Agriculture, whichever one has a program that may be able to fit the need of what the issue is that they may be working to address. One of the things that they'll also be working to do is identifying those needs around the growing urban agriculture market within that defined area. So even though the committee is just focused on Dallas County right now, of course, the Dallas Metroplex is a huge area. And so there may be some different issues that may come up that affects maybe some urban producers in surrounding counties. But for the purpose of this committee, they will be kind of that voice to be able to kind of find that information, identify those needs, and let us know what things we may be able to do differently to support them. And then they will be hopefully allowing us to engage with a new customer base. That customer base, again, has not traditionally been through our offices. And so they may have not have gotten a farm number like Coy mentioned, or they may have not participated in any NRCS or FFA programs. And so our goal is that we'll be able to bring them through our doors to be able to give them the assistance and support that they need to, again, tackle the issues that they are within their communities. We do have meetings. So far, we've had them monthly, but we do have meetings with the urban county committees so that way we can keep them engaged, so we can get information from them. And so we can also work with them to administer our programs. And they will also work with us on making recommendations on training needs. And so those training needs, they can be broad and widespread. And so we haven't identified any quite yet, but they will be working to let us know what different things they need and what we need. So that way we're making it as best of a partnership and working relationship as we can to get the work and the assistance out to the field that we need. So some of you may be asking, in part, why is it important for these urban county committees? Well, until now, there's not been an official vehicle for urban growers to really affect USDA priorities and funding, especially when it comes to urban agriculture. So again, urban farmers and producers, they are uniquely qualified to identify the needs of growers in their communities and provide direction to USDA on how they can best be served. And so, of course, our urban county committees, they'll be able to kind of give us that local information on what we need to do differently. They will also be working to address issues such as food access and community engagement, supporting local activities, and working with us to make determinations and assistance in the programs that we offer to producers. And so they have a very important role to play. And so we are very lucky that here as a state, and especially in Dallas, that we're able to engage with our county committee members there. And we are looking forward to seeing what types of things we'll be able to bring out to better enable us and the department to be able to give urban producers the support and the resources that they need to be successful and address these important issues. So again, just a summary of these urban COCs. So they are made up of local agriculturists. So they are involved in urban agriculture and they have the experience that's required and needed to let us know what we can do differently. And as Coy mentioned, they were elected. And so this year there will be another election for the Urban County Committee. That nomination process generally starts around June the 15th. And so you all will be seeing some information later on in the year about that nomination process. And so if you are interested in the urban county committees or serving or seeing what type of assistance we may be able to provide you with or what support you can give us, just be on the lookout for that information. These urban COCs, they will report their urban needs, ag needs through FSA's administrator directly to the Secretary of Agriculture. And so that is something unique within this pilot, that they will have almost a direct communication line with the Secretary's office. And so hopefully we'll be able to kind of send that information up on what needs we have, and hopefully they'll lead us to a quicker development of programs that will be needed to support urban agriculture. Again, it'll give them the opportunity to educate fellow producers on USDA programs and what we have to provide. And hopefully it'll give them the opportunity to make decisions that, of course, can impact local urban farmers and ranchers as well in the support of their operations. This slide here, it does show, again, some of the wide variety of programs that are available to urban ag producers. And again, it's not only through the Farm Service Agency, but of course, across most of our agencies, there are some programs that are targeted or that can be utilized by urban producers. Specifically within the Farm Service Agency, we do offer microloans to producers. And so if you may need a small loan to get started, then maybe cover some operating expenses, that may be an option. We also have a program, which is the Organic Certification Cost Share Program. It can provide up to $500 per year to become certified in a specific scope once you've become certified. So it's set up as a reimbursement. For fiscal year 2022, that application period has not opened yet. But if you are considering going into organic, or if you'd be going through the certification process this year, that may be a program that is a benefit to you. Coy did mention that he's worked with the Natural Resources Conservation Service. And so through their Environmental Quality Incentives Program, also known as EQIP, you may be able to do some different projects like high tunnels, which can allow you to kind of extend the growing season that you have. And so all of these different agencies that you see on the screen, we do have different, we have different programs that we administer to, again, support urban producers. And so our goal with our urban county committees is to see what can we do better, or what new programs may we need to better address the needs that they have. And so with that, I will end here. I do know there was a lot of information I just shared in such a short time frame, but if you all do have any questions and you don't get a chance to ask those today, or might not get an answer today, feel free to shoot me an email and we can definitely have a conversation more one-on-one, or figure out what different things you all may need support with. But again, thank you, Coy, for inviting me today. I do hope we can then look forward to the good things that we'll be able to do through the Urban County Committee.
Thank you, Joshua. And thank you, Dallas Public Library, for this opportunity. Thank all the panelists. Thank the founders of the program. Like I said, like Joshua said, it's a short period of time. There's a lot of things I want to share with you all, but as you know, we're on somebody's clock, so we gotta honor that. We thank them for this time. So I'm not sure, Vanessa or anyone, if they have any questions that like to be shared, but thank you.
Not any questions so far, so go ahead and throw those in the chat right now if anybody has questions. But Randy shared a link about the urban opportunities for farmers, and Michael shared some information about the USDA and the National Resource Conservation Service, so be sure to check that out. I have a question. This is my curiosity. I believe you grow with aquaponically. I noticed in your video you had some fish. Is that part of your aquaponic setup? Is that something you're able to teach the kids too?
Yes, we have over between 30 koi and goldfish in there. And what we've been able to grow, we want to do tests. And so that's what that whole system was set up for. And so from that, we've been able to grow lettuce, collards. We had some peppers in there, tons of herbs. We had a basil that was so big that I was able to take it out of there and put it in the garden, and it worked as a shrub. So we basically teach the kids the importance of the symbiotic relationship between the fish and the plants, and how the fish waste feed the plants, and how the rocks or the clay pebbles that we have that's holding up the plants kind of filters out the water, and so the fish can have clean water. And so that whole thing, and they're able to eat it. We had a gentleman who came up from Houston, a business gentleman. He saw that lettuce and he actually wanted to buy it from us. And that's how well it grew. And so, yeah, that was exciting.
That's awesome. Yeah. And this is a good question that Randy asked. Do you host tours or site visits of your site? As this segues into like, how can people get involved too? Like, can they visit you? Can they help you out? How can they help with this whole process?
Yes, we just started expanding the property as far as the garden. So we're going to start having classes, and we're always looking for volunteers. Our information is on the website, fawccas.com. They can go on there and I know a few people subscribe today. They can subscribe, or they can put the information. We're always looking for people to come out and help, and just even a network, just to have a good time out here. Basically just go on the website.
Awesome. And there's a shout out to Pastor Deloche from Connie. So I guess you kind of covered this, but Sarah asked, do you host like garden days for larger groups of volunteers as well? Like, I know individuals can volunteer, but do you ever host days where larger groups can come in? Her company, SWA Group, would love to come and help you guys.
Since that question, I'm going to set one up for, let's just say ASAP. I'm going to go ahead and set one up. We just had one a couple of months back, and I saw Elizabeth Gumby that came on. She's one of our huge supporters here, and she came out. Matter of fact, her picture is on there, our video with us. But yes, I'll set one up immediately so we can have them come out. We would love to have them.
Do you provide support for churches or organizations who need help starting their community gardens?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
That's a good question, because this garden here is attached to our church. And so we know there's a lot of churches that's having problems with tithing and orphans right now because the people are strained financially. And so what we do, we come and advise them how they can start a garden in the back of the church to either support the members with food, or they can turn that into an urban farm and be able to help the church's finances to being able to sell some of the produce. And so, yes, whoever that is, please reach out to me. You know, it's fawccas.com, but my email is Coy Poitier, COYPOITIER at FAWC, well, sorry, at FAWCCAS.com. Email me. I believe somebody can put that email in the chat. Email me. Yes, we would love to talk to you. That's what we're inspired to do.
Awesome. Okay, last call for questions. We've got a few minutes here left. There's a lot of thank yous in the chat, and people have learned a whole lot. And I know I have. I had no idea that the USD had the Urban Ag program that they just started here, so that's really cool to learn about that. And learning about all the great stuff and how you're kind of approaching it holistically for the, you know, the community members and the children, you know, teaching them and feeding them, you know, knowledge and food. So I think that's a really great approach to it. A question about where are you located at?
We're at 1510 Rogers Avenue in Lancaster, Texas is where the farm is. And then the other offices is 9415 Bruton Road in Dallas, Texas, which is located in the Bruton, St. Augustine area, Pleasant Grove.
Awesome.
Very good.
All right. Well, thank you all so much, everyone who spoke and for your time. And I know I got to chat with Katrina a little bit before and hear about how she's graduating tomorrow from a construction program. So she'll be able to help build stuff at the farm, which I think is really awesome and amazing. So congratulations, Katrina, on that.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Even more awesome stuff I think are coming to your farm with all her new building skills. So be sure to check out their website and see how you can help out. And there's a final question here about the name of the church that is associated with the farm.
The garden.
Yes, the church is Fresh Anointing Worship Center. So Fresh Anointing Worship Center.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for spending your Valentine's lunchtime with us. And hopefully you've learned to love some of the agriculture as much as I have. So, all right, thank y'all all so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. Judy, did you have anything else?
No, it's been so informative and interesting, and it's so true that as you say, we've had a program on health and gardening. So, you know, one of the stories that was shared about the young man that took the plant home and rebuilt his relationship with his mother. And it's there's health properties to gardening, but there's also those emotional properties, and also it helps with stress. So, and of course, it helps feed people and helps them understand, like you say, that symbiotic relationship between, you know, our environment and just what those plants do and caring for them. And there's all kinds of principles that come into play, because obviously with plants, you know, you have to take care of them. I was sharing last week that I have a plant here at the house, a house plant that we've had for 24 years. So, you know, just incorporating all those things into your life just makes a huge difference. So thank you for everything. Thank you for everything you're doing. It's been an honor to be here on the program today.
Thank you.
Come back.
Thank you so much. All right. Well, everyone take care. So our next program will be, you mentioned Dallas County Masters Gardeners, will be on the 7th of March. And I don't have a link, but I'll send a link out in the follow-up email. So you can, if this has inspired you to start your own garden, we'll have someone from the Dallas County Master Gardeners telling you how to get that spring garden going. So be sure to check that out. All right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
All right, bye-bye. Thank you. Thanks, Josh, Cleve, Katrina. Thank you all. Vanessa, thank you, everybody. I really appreciate
Thank you so
y'all.
much.
You're welcome. Thank y'all.